The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. As we inch further and further in the season and get closer and closer to crowning a champion in the Area Cup Series brought to you by the Studio Temporary, Race 2 of the Chase finds ourselves here in Thunder Valley. 30 degrees of banking, high speeds, and tempers galore here, as we like to call it, fighter jets in a cereal bowl. Gotta thank Kyle Petty for that phrase. So many drivers looking to gain spots, preserve spots, and make sure they have the best chance at a championship. But we have 200 laps separating us from the end of this one. Who will persevere? Let's find out together. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Cup Series presented by the Studio Temporary, the second race in the chase, 200 laps around Bristol. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the truck. Brad Dalton helping out with the calls. Brad, I know you have been here a few times and you have said this is one of your favorite tracks. Should be a good one, and we'll see how chaotic Bristol is tonight for us.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This track, I guess it's Kentucky Speedway, RIP, doesn't really run racing anymore for NASCAR. This is technically my closest NASCAR track, so it's home to me. It's a track that I love. It's a track that I know. And it's one of the few NASCAR tracks that I've ever been good at in iRacing. So this track just kind of holds a special place in my heart. And I'm excited to see how it affects the chase. This track can go a multitude of ways, either good or bad. And I have a weird feeling that, at least for tonight, it's going to really shake up the championship standings. It's almost the opposite of a super speedway situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look here at those standings very quickly before we start covering where qualifying stands. After, of course, one race at Chicagoland, Van Drugman up by one sole point over Jake Nichols, James Scioli right there. Then you have Seth Noel, Reese Schaefer, and then the guy who is arguably the favorite, Sebastian Marin, 20 points back in 6th. He gained a lot with the performance last week at Chicago. But what will he be able to muster? Dylan Alt back there in 12th. He missed the race, so he is going to have a massive uphill climb to try to get whatever he can out of this chase. But let's go and again see who is on the racetrack right now, trying to turn a qualifying lap. And here is Sebastian Marin, just ran himself P2 on the board. Dylan Alt, again, 70 points back. Probably not going to win a championship, but he can certainly raise himself in the standings. Let's see what he can muster.
It's going to be interesting to watch and see how the... Oh!
Did that lap count? It did not.
Wow.
And then actually, look at the top of the board there, Brad. It's not an actual tie because it goes down to the 10,000s, and we don't have that visible, but as a pseudo tie for the pole with the, again, the 1/10,000th of a second going to Jake Nichols for the pole.
I wish we had access to the 10,000s because I want to know how that breaks down. But yeah, that tie right there up in front. Again, I said it, and I'm going to say it one more time. This track gives very super speedway-y vibes in terms of, I don't want to call it a true lottery track, but this track is going to be all about just avoiding the chaos of the night and avoiding the accidents and the moments that happen. And that will really see your way to the end. If you can't do that, well, then you're going to have just a very, very bad day. I have a feeling that these drivers are going to be doing pretty good, but we'll find out here how it plays out at the end of 200 laps.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens. 200 laps sounds like a lot. It will be a pretty quick race, even if this race does end up a little chaotically with the sequence of yellow flags. Bristol is a very quick race as a whole. But of course, if you live under a rock and you don't know what Bristol looks like, here you go. The important part to note here is we are running the single pit road configuration. Now you see that blue line there on the bottom of the track. These drivers will have to enter the pits in at the exit of turn number 2, ride the whole back straightaway, then go on the apron in 3 and 4, and then go the whole distance of the front straightaway. So pit stops under green, if that crazily does happen, is going to be catastrophic. And unlike the real world, Brad, there's no green flag, yellow flag rules. Doesn't matter what the sequence is. You have to run the whole racetrack for the pits, regardless of the scenario.
That has to be the worst, having to run the whole pits, I'm not going to lie. But you do what you got to do, and that is going to just be the name of the game tonight. You know, make it work, make it go how it needs to go, and at the end, we'll see who is successful and who is not.
Absolutely. So you'll see who is successful and staying down there on the flat. Again, if we have green flags, it has happened. Crazier things has happened, but not necessarily expecting them here today. Now, in terms of the penalty report, I didn't get to put a graphic up on the screen. I just got the information a little bit late. But we do have the 16 is going to be headed to the back. That's Rocky Boyd, and the number 22 of, I think, Brandon Watkins heading to the back for a drive-through. And we do have 2 suspensions. Jeremy Miller and the number 45 car are suspended here for this race. Big news coming out there after some circumstances at play. But we want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV on YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you're again watching on Twitch, hit the like, subscribe button. $5 a month, double points, custom emotes, and turn those double points into some free merch. But now let's go down trackside for that Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. It's going to be Jake Nichols up front with Sebastian Marin going to be rolling off outside of row number 1 with that tie on the lap board. Jacob Harbert's going to be in third with Douglas Newbigging, a great starting spot for him there in the 4th spot. 5th will be Drew Jua, another chase driver, and Justin Anasogak in 6th. We'll head back to James Scioli and Reese Schaefer, a row number 4 chase situation. Josh Cottle and Travis Beckner, 9th and 10th.
11 here on the night will be Tyler Nichols with Adam Cabot in 12th place. P13 here moving forward is AJ Stravato with David Weishart in 14th. 15th place here we'll find David Brown with one of our chase drivers, Logan Helton, the number 63 in P16. Garrett Grant and then Michael Curhan in P18. 19th place will be Connor Horn and Frankie Barroso in 20th place.
Here, Frankie Barroso, the chase driver that had to withdraw just due to attendance circumstances. Rocky Boyd, he's going to be headed with the drive-through in 21st. Ryan Swan, the Blue Tip Pool Builders Ford in 22nd. Seth Knoll, he's going to have an uphill climb. I'm sure he can do it out of 23rd with Ben Pierce in 24th, 35 cars strong. Hayden Swank, Joseph Causey. Then we have Van Drugman, the points leader. It's going to be fun watching him slice and dice through the field. Bryce Senesac in 28th. Then we have Max Service and Brandon Watkins. And then just rounding things through, Dylan Alt, John Forbes, Zach Carr, Brent Punkari, and the boss man, Jacob Bell, rounding the caboose here today. But again, with the penalties at play, he may not be rounding the caboose after all. So, again, Brad, it's hard to say what Bristol can offer. We've seen Bristol go both ways here in the service. It could easily provide a green flag race. It could spread out multi-groove racing, or we could have Rock'em Sock'em Robots, tempers galore, and the pace car could lead the most laps. It's really hard to tell.
I mean, it's Bristol, baby. I feel like that's the saying is it's Bristol, baby. There's not much to say otherwise. It's either going to work out or it's not. I'm really interested in watching Van Drugman work his way up from the back of the field, because that's going to be where things really, really get shaken up. Is if Van Drugman can't figure it out from the back of the field, then it's not going to really matter here. We'll see what this race brings tonight as we watch on Whiplash Sim Cams.
Absolutely. Here with 1 lap to go, you can see some of the drivers going to the back of the field. I don't know. We might actually even get a third pace lap out of this deal. I think we are, because the drivers at the back of the field still getting sorted here. So we will get ourselves a third pace lap. That gives us the opportunity to talk about the weather here. In 77 air, 81 track, concrete, not necessarily as temperature sensitive, so I don't really see that being too big of a deal, but the asphalt will rubber up here. And of course, Central Mobile Homes with the starting lineup. Head to centralmobilehomeinc.com if you're looking for any trailers, new home floor plans, or shed designs. They can help you out, serving customers for 30 years in the Southern Florida area. centralmobilehomeinc.com. But like that new holographic color changing, reminds you of the old Jeff Gordon scheme there with Jake Nichols. Again, see what he can do here from the front row.
It's going to be interesting to see Nichols and Marin here work their way along. I have a weird feeling just looking at the two of them that it's either going to go really well or really bad in the beginning. And honestly, I think the big question that we're not asking is, well, how is this race going to start out? How are things going to really play its way along?
Absolutely, a lot of things at play here, and we'll see what happens over the course of 200 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. Nichols and Marin on the front row as we go chase racing event number 2 here, rounding down the season. Who will win in Thunder Valley? Let's find out. On the loud pedal, Marin loose right off the jump. Opens the door for Jacob Harberts to the bottom here. Let's see what line perseveres here. Marin really loose to the outside.
Man, Marin really loose, trying to hold on here and trying to work that outside line. That allows Jacob Harberts to work down the inside. Outside line not seeming to work here for Marin, or maybe it's just setup not working for Marin and the throttle not working. Jake Nichols, though, you got to say, good job getting up there to the front. By the way, for those of you wondering, your points leader right now is still trying to work up through the field, up into 22nd already, though, so gaining 5 positions right off the jump. That is a big improvement there early on.
There's Rocky Boyd with the worst drive-through penalty of the season here at Bristol, the way it'll transpire. But Jacob Harberts looking to the bottom of the track underneath Jake Nichols here on lap number 4. Again, this is a quick race. If this goes green, it's only 50 minutes of on-track activity, so you got to make the most of it here with 15-second lap times. And you can see already the different lanes at play. The top very rubbered in, the middle rubbered in, the bottom rubbered in. All 3 different banking lanes here, because iRacing does have the 3 banking layout, all in play. Nichols really fighting on that outside lane.
Fighting that outside line, trying to make it work here to hold off Harberts, and you can see right now, at least it's not really holding through. It's a good run out of the corners, but mid-corner, it does look like Harberts has a bit there. It's just trying to find that exit to get through. That's a good exit there, holding side by side. And if you're Sebastian Marin, you're sitting here just kind of watching this, and you're thinking, all right, where do I play into this? Do I play into this? It is a 200-lap race. We're only on lap number 8, so maybe you just kind of let them run for now. There's not really stage points or anything to worry about, of course.
Well, it looks like Harberts, again, he will fall back in the line. As you said, no stage points. There is the lead lap point. Of course, Harberts not in the playoffs in this series. He is in the chase, I believe, in the truck series, if memory does serve. But as you guys know here, my memory does tend to be a little bit rusty here. But let's go back and find some good duking out, some battles to be had. And they are in the middle of the pack here. Here is Tyler Nichols, David Brown, and just ahead of that, AJ Stravato here. And then we go a little bit further back, and now we have some chase action. Seth Knoll with a uncharacteristically bad lap for him, starting in the mid-20s, but here he goes battling with Michael Currian. This is a chase battle in 17th and 18th. Just behind that, you have Logan Helton, and there's Van Drugman. So many chasers back there in the mid-20s tonight.
Yeah, Van Drugman managing to work up to P20 here. Again, started way back in the pack and is slowly working the way forward, showing some strong pace here early on, but it's going to take quite a bit more than pace just to move forward here, as we see a bit of a squeeze there from the 63 coming into the mix as well there. Logan Helton trying to shut the door.
That's 47 of Dylan Alt really trying to make that middle lane work and really sending it on the outside. And it's really hard to say here at Bristol we've seen different iterations of this racetrack. Of course, we don't have PJ1, although it is argued that iRacing has tried to simulate it here. So a lot of drivers will say the inside works. For years and years, you had to rim ride this place. And now with the new iterations of the dynamic track surface, we'll see what lane really comes into play, because I'm already seeing drivers start to move around. But Brad, we always hate to say dirty air. We are on the higher horsepower package with the lesser diffuser here. But with the speeds we're going here, you definitely will feel the dirty air at Bristol.
Oh yeah, it does make a difference here, and until the whole field is really kind of mixed up the way that Bristol does on long green flag runs, if you are in the clean air, it does make a big advantage. It really does make you feel better, honestly, to be not sitting in dirty air. It is.
Back of the shot, something in the mix of Logan Helton. Something had happened to him there, but he has recovered from it now. So had lost some time. I don't know exactly what happened, but I don't want to sit on it for too long. But what I will say is that Sebastian Marin did get around the number 80 of Harbert's here, Drew Jua, pretty far back there in the 4th spot here. Very well spread out. 20 laps in. Let's just check things out here with the timings. Are we having any tire deg here? Already down 6/10 in about 20 laps. That's, well, 8/10 even. So that's pretty tangible tire fall off tonight.
Yeah, that's a lot of tire fall off, honestly. I mean, I knew some tire fall off was going to happen coming in, but I didn't feel like it was going to be that much tire fall off heading into this race. It'll be one of those games where everyone's just going to have to make the best of it and really kind of make the guess here. For Seth Knoll, I think this is a case of holding through. James Scioli has a meatball flag, though. What happened to Scioli?
Trying to sort it out here. It does appear that he is out of the world. We're going to quickly check my trigger thing here, and he might just be having connectivity issues here. That's what it appears to be. So hopefully he can get himself back in, but he is now already registered 2 laps down. So, we talk about the point standing. We'll just refresh your memory really quickly. 4 points back and only 5 races in this chase, Brad. So not a lot of time to recover from incidents such as situations out of his own control, most likely.
Yeah, no, that is very unfortunate. And something has happened to Douglas Newbigging as well. Has dropped out of the race down into 33rd now. Not sure, again, where that came from, because I don't see anything really giving an indication of what could have happened. It's just all of a sudden a couple drivers dropping off the run, which is not what they want to do here on the day. Unfortunately, sometimes lady luck plays a hand in a race, and we're already an 1/8 of the way through this race.
Yeah, it is flying by. So again, at this point, 45 minutes of action. I would imagine a one-stop race, the way that this would most likely work out. Now, we talked about green flag stops. I mean, I'm not really getting too far into it because I just still think that it's a crazy thought, but there is always that situation, Brad, and we talk about it here in these kind of races. With each lap that goes by, it increases the chance that the next lap is a green flag lap, and it just creates a clean green flag effect, kind of like that rocket equation. For every gallon of fuel you bring into space, you need another gallon of fuel. It's an exponential thing that gets bigger and bigger. Every lap that goes by, you're more and more likely to be green.
Yeah, because the more and more laps go by, the more and more these drivers really settle themselves in on the run. And the more that they do that, well, you said it, it's exponential. It's exciting to watch through, and it's one of those things that I wouldn't really not bank on here on the go just because of the way things are going. So, I mean, I'm really enjoying watching this so far and watching these battles through. Van Drugman already up into the top 15, starting to battle along. It's just one of those things that the later this race goes, until we get to green flag cautions, that's the point where I really think we end up in a position that there is a chance for a caution to come out. It's anytime there's green flag stops. I think it's a green flag caution.
You did, but I was going to let
green flag
slide.
pit stops.
I know you're not
green
feeling.
Green flag pit stops.
I know you're a little under the weather, so I was going to let it slide here, but speaking of let it slide, you may have a water slide. If you don't, well, you probably want one. And Ryan Swan, Blue Tip Pool Builders, they can help you have a water slide if you have a pool and an outdoor lounging area, outdoor kitchens, getting it looking all nice and shiny, dolled up here as we are in the middle of the summer. Head to bluetippools.com. I was just watching a YouTuber build a water slide in his house, so water slides were on the top of my head. But I got to head to bluetippools.com for those necessities here. But up front, Jake Nichols is starting to get to the back of the field, and it will be interesting. Bristol is one of the tracks where traffic giveth, traffic taketh. I know you always say that on our Wednesday road shows, Brad, but if there's any track where traffic on an oval will certainly spice things up, it's here at Bristol.
Oh, yeah, it makes all the difference here in Bristol. Honestly, the traffic, you have to really be on top of it and be able to navigate your way through traffic. Drivers that have experienced road course racing tend to find themselves a little bit better off here at Bristol than others, just because of the nature of knowing how to work your way through traffic and kind of play that game. It's not something that it's something that you can learn, but it is also something that sometimes if you naturally have that bit of talent, it helps a bit more. So it'll be interesting to watch and see how Nichols, Marin, Harberts, Jua all start to work their way through as those lap times, again, they're still really dropping here. 15.2 was Jake Nichols' best time. We're already a second of fall off.
Absolutely here. As you can see, Sebastian basically drawing even blood to him here. This is right in front of the leader. They're side by side. This is the worst case scenario for the leader because he is going to be stuck. And that was Bryce Senesac who just went a lap down, but now he's stuck, and that gap to Marin is going to quickly decay because right now Jake Nichols can't go anywhere. He's stuck to the bottom of the track, and now Marin right in the shot, 0.2 of a second behind, going low, trying to get to that top of the racetrack, 65 in the wall. And now Marin just lucked out, gained 0.2 of a second, and now they'll see how the yo-yo plays out once they get to max service.
The yo-yo, the accordion, plenty of things that you can call it here. I'm curious to see how it plays out for these drivers up and down the run on the go. Looking here up in the front, this is where Marin is starting to put some of the best pressure on along here, and look at this, might actually try to make it work up the inside here on Harberts, or on Nichols, with Harberts not that far behind as they work their way around the 81 doing a good job there, holding the low side, just letting that be and letting the pass happen. I think that's the best thing that these lap down cars can do, is just let that pass happen. Unfortunately, you know, don't try to fight it, don't cause a big kerfuffle with the leaders, just let them go.
And the next on the chopping block is Logan Helton, who was working his way through the field. We didn't catch what happened, but obviously he had some kind of a moment. I don't really see any damage, but whatever the moment was, he did recover from it. But let's talk about some of the drivers who are moving up very quickly here. Dylan Alt, where did he start in the race? I want to say it was basically at the back of the field, so a lot of comers and goers through this junction in the race. Dylan Alt started 31st and already up to 19th. Other big movers here, Seth Knoll, who has, again, he was in the mid-20s, and Van Drugman, our points leader coming in by one sole point, has just cracked the top 10, getting by Jacob Bell, the boss man, who is now already a lap down. But 7 seconds off the pace. There's Cottle with a big wiggle off the corner. That'll allow Van Drugman to get ever so closer.
Well, it would help if I remember to unmute my mic, honestly. So, you know, rookie moves happening today. Watching the 3 of Tyler Nichols back on the back of John Forbes Jr. as we're already a quarter of the way through this race. This is interesting, honestly, how quick this race goes. I forget how quick Bristol races can be here. 15-second laps really move this race along.
Absolutely. And of course, if you like what you see and you are an area fan, which we hope you are, you'll enjoy what we have this week as Van Drugman moves up into the 9th spot. We will be back here tomorrow night, Tuesday, with the Area Truck Series. And then we will also be here Thursday with the Florida State Builders Pro Series, a triple header here at Thunder Valley, the last great Coliseum. But as we have kind of cleared traffic for a little bit, I will say, Nichols pulling away. And one thing I am noticing, Brad, you may remember the first couple laps, we kind of had 3 separate rubbered-in lanes. Well, now we've almost, at least in 1 and 2, rubberized, for lack of a better word, the entire track. So in 3 and 4, only that little sliver there, maybe third lane of green track.
Watching the 3 lanes really develop through here on Bristol, going high, low, middle, taking your pick of what works. It's a lot of fun to just watch how these cars run. And one of the things, too, is that, well, the Cup cars tend to run a bit different than the O'Reilly's cars and then the trucks. So it's different. Womp.
Max Service, I believe, will be requesting such activities. Now, I would have thought that's what we call a ticky-tack caution, Brad. Because typically, I think, I don't know if it was that he stopped, but I'm very surprised that race control threw, and that's, not live race control, iRacing race control threw that one out. Very shocked based on what we know of how it triggers. But either way, first caution in the race, right around lap, well, rather 25% distance.
I hate it when cautions like that come out, to be honest. Those cautions that just, I don't understand why they happen, but they do. Unfortunate to see, but what great timing here to get 4 tires and fuel on all of these cars as we go through. And again, the fun of the full pit layout, you have to go all the way through the back, all the way around the corner, all the way up the front, and keep things going. So that's where things get very, very interesting, because you still have to keep your pace together through the corner. You can't magically speed up. It's all pit lane. And I think that might catch somebody off guard if they're not careful.
You can see all those drivers picked on the back stretch, because it is, I believe, I'm sure someone will correct me on this, about 22 stalls on each side, or 20 or 21 on each side. So second half of the field does have to pit on the back, but it's all of the same experience here. Has 4 tires presumably going on everybody. Of course, Bristol they changed their procedures, I want to say, in 02 to this kind of pseudo pit road sequence. Because back in the day, it was such a disadvantage to pit on the back straightaway. You had to wait for the whole front stretch to pass by. You were almost guaranteed to lose 6 to 8 spots every single time. So they made that single pit road rule. Of course, in the real world, they can differentiate the rules from green to caution. Can't do that here in the sim, but anywho. Oh yeah, this is another point, Brad. Look at the groove. Concrete tracks pick up rubber at slow speeds quite radically. You can already tell just these caution laps how much rubber we're pulling up off the racetrack. Rather interesting to see.
It is very, very weird to watch, I'm not going to lie, and it does make such a big difference for the cars, for the track, because it's going to be interesting when we go green, because it's going to feel like a completely different track here as we come around through 3 and 4 here behind the iRacing Pace Mustang coming around towards the restart zone. The Mustang dives off into pits. Jake Nichols, Sebastian Marin on your front row through the Echo Park restart zone. We're green, and what a good jump from Nichols there.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest tracks to start from the outside lane. And Marin did a good job. Drew Jua. Oh, we're still... Oh, holy mother of toothpaste.
What?
69 of Justin Anna Sogak. That is a ride that is not frequently seen at Bristol.
All right, we'll dial up an area instant replay of that, because did I see that car completely over the catch fence at one point, or did I make that up in my head?
Hospital wobble, Drew Jua, and then it all just... Oh, Seth Nuttall. Yeah, that was what we like to call very close to being a sport ender.
Yeah, you got... That has to be the funniest thing. You're just... One moment you're in the road looking at the scenery, next moment you're in the scenery looking at the road. I mean, look at this. You just land and now you're facing backwards and just kind of saying, okay, what was that?
Of course, we appreciate the structural integrity of the fences that iRacing does provide. I mean, funnily enough, I think if anybody watched the real world race, you probably saw clips of the Austin Dillon wreck from 2015, because there was basically the connection of racing at 2 a.m. Last time we did that, this is what happened. And it is amazing how strong these fences are in the real world, being able to hold back 3,500 pounds like that. But anywho, Drew Jua certainly at a less than stellar situation with that hospital wobble into the fence. Anna Sogahak behind that. But Seth Knoll was also involved in that in the 1 car. Again, another driver high up in the point standings. And just going to hope that he can sort things through here. Not a lot of time in the pits here at Bristol to get damage repaired.
Yeah, it's, if we were at, say like a Daytona, Talladega, you can pit in, you can sit for a majority of the pace lap and then rip your way out. As long as you beat the pace car, you stay on the lead lap and you rip your way around to the back of the pack. Here at Bristol, I mean, even our pace laps are 45 seconds and our racing laps are 15 seconds. So you do not get that much time at all. We're already on 1 to green.
Absolutely. So Seth Knoll did stay on the lead lap down there in 27th place. James Scioli, for you fans there, did manage to get back onto the racetrack. He is 6 laps down in 30 seconds, so he is really going to be pulling for the attrition card and as many cautions as he can get to try to get back on the lead lap here. But coming through, again, we know how difficult it is starting here on that outside lane. Marin hasn't been able to persevere, and he won't be able to persevere this time. On the loud pedal is Nichols, and Harberts will try to fill the gap to the bottom and will not be able to succeed.
No, he will not. Sebastian Marin with a great run there off of the middle, working the high line now for Jake Nichols. Not Beckner. Big spin from Beckner. We stay green? Question mark.
Yes, we do. Quickly try to see what happened to Travis. Just got loose all on his own. Good save, though. I mean, used the wall as a little bit of a break there. And again, that didn't cause a caution. Very similar to the wreck that did cause a caution here. But Sebastian Marin, while we were watching that replay, got to the inside of Jake Nichols. And this is huge, because this could be control of the race going to Marin. Jake Nichols didn't want to give that up. I think the 73 has the better long run pace. He was pulling away, but now Marin has the clean air. Will he be able to set the tone and pull away? He is 20 points off of the championship lead. He needs every bit of gap he can get to that 73.
This is huge for Marin. Marin holding the front here, holding the clean air, as you said, and is going to be the one putting the dirty air on the nose of Nichols. And I feel like I can already tell that for Nichols, it's affecting him here. You can see he's looking up the track here. We haven't really seen him wanting to run the high line, but he's running the high line here, just trying to stay out of the back of Marin. If Marin goes high, he goes low. Marin goes low, he's working high here, just trying to stay out of that dirty air, trying to keep grip on that car, which does come at a premium here in the air, which is, I feel like that's a podcast topic, and that's, I feel like I could write like a 12-hour documentary about the effects of dirty air and the conversation of it. It's going to be interesting to watch how Nichols does here. Marin holding that front line, and again, just Marin does really well at controlling pace. I will say that. Marin could get up front here and try to run away, but I think Marin's going to try to control pace, control tires, and kind of drive it a bit smart here through the middle stage of this race.
Now we probably will have one more pit stop, and here he goes to the outside. Jake Nichols like getting to the outside like Marin wasn't even driving there. And caution on the speedway, and it'll be interesting who scoring gives it to. David Brown will be the cause here. Will be interesting to see who does what pit stop wise. Third self spin off of 4 we've seen. However, he right hooked it into traffic And that put a couple drivers evading into the wall.
Good to see that when he came back into traffic, he didn't collect more cars, because one of the things that Bristol can turn into is a bit of a parking lot traffic jam situation if enough cars get collected here and a pack running through. I'm really shocked we didn't see that with that second caution, honestly, back on lap 60 here. Lap 75 of 200, and it looks like Nichols did get scored as the leader there when the caution came out, if only by a thousandth of a second.
Well, it will be interesting to see here. Obviously, people aren't going to pit, but this is what will happen, Brad, with the rapid fire of cautions. Some pit stops in the far back of the field. I am pretty confident, as Jacob Bell will get back on the lead lap, I'm pretty confident fuel-wise they can get to the end from here. But if we start to get a myriad of cautions, let's say between here and I would go as far to say like lap 150 to 160, it is going to be a massive stress guessing game on when to pit. Because obviously we know tires are about a second a lap, but at the same time, a lot of times you need enough laps to be able to get the good out of the tires. And when to pit, when to stay out, that could come into play if cautions start taking over a little bit.
Bristol strategy plus multiple cautions equals chaos. That's the summation of it. Is I don't know that I ever want to be the one in the position here trying to figure out when to pit, when to not at Bristol, because I mean, you want to talk about fuel strategy ruining your race or making your race. This is the track where that is genuinely the most likely scenario to happen here, just depending on how things play out. Lap 77 to 200, getting ready to go back green, and it's Nichols, Marin, Harberts, Cabot, your top four. I want to give a shout out to Dylan Alt, John Forbes Jr., though, up 26 places respectively, up there in P4 and P5, so they're finding themselves in some great positions right now, and it'll be interesting to watch if they can move up a little bit further.
Absolutely, because they are here, and now that they'll have cleaner air, will those cars drive better? Will they play in contention? We'll find out here now as we're on the loud pedal. Marin obviously was able to take the lead quickly after the last restart from the outside lane, really driving it on in there, trying to get to the right rear. Nichols shuts the door. I think Marin cut a break there to Nichols, giving him some space here, as Zat Van Drugman, he must have been involved in the wreck. He has a black flag.
Has a black flag. Yeah, no. Van Drugman under a lot of trouble here today. Our current points leader by 1 point with LVV Racing here over Jake Nichols. So for Jake Nichols, this is basically Christmas being given to him right now, because that's the points leader dropping down here, having to serve a drive-through. Jake Nichols should, in theory, if he can stay up front, come out of this as the points leader.
Yeah, gutted here. Van Drugman, he must have been involved. I vaguely remember seeing a yellow car involved in one of those wrecks. You could see some damage, but he is going to go 3-4 laps down. It's going to be a race with him and James Scioli to salvage spots there, multiple laps down here. So, again, just quickly refreshing the point standings here. Van Drugman having problems, Scioli having problems. And that's just opening the door. Seth Knoll having problems with some damage. Helton having problems. So not a good day to be a chaser. So some drivers trying to take advantage of it. And Marin now about 0.3 of a second back. Harbert's in third. And now look at the cheese man, Adam Cabot. He's got himself up here. He's not a chaser, but he certainly has the pace to contend with them.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not in the chase, you're still racing for wins here in the season. You're still racing for, of course, next season of area. You want to make sure that you can secure your spot here in the Area Cup Series presented by the Studio Temporary. You want to make sure that your team re-signs you for the next season here. Is Van Drugman No, I think Van Drugman's coming out of the pits here on the front stretch.
We'll see, but here's Marin, who got really close, gained a lot of time. And right to that rear decklet of the 73, trying to make something happen here. Again, Marin, he dropped back a few stints. Nichols not pulling away as he's had prior here, closing in on the halfway point. And Jacob Harbert's kind of licking his chops, trying to close on in as well. John Forbes closing in on Adam Cabot. I do have to ask you, Brad, have you been to the grocery store? Have you seen the Cabot cheese? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about with that yet?
I have indeed seen the Cabot cheese,
okay.
And I'll tell you right now, it makes me think of Adam Cabot every time. I don't know what I'll use the Cabot cheese for, but now I kind of want to cook with it.
I mean, melted cheese, shredded cheese, it goes on absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere. So, but speaking of anytime, anywhere, that's where the pass for the lead could be made as things are getting spicy here at the rickshotsauce.com. If you want your food to be as spicy as this battle for the lead, Lokahatchee Classic Golden Garlic Palm Beach Pineapple South Beach Heat, and again, somebody in this league getting a $100 prize if they are the Rookie of the Year, and we'll find that out very shortly, rickshotsauce.com. But Marin is absolutely stalking his prey right now, and he's able to drive right through that dirty air that we've seen others struggle with tonight.
It's so impressive to see Marin run through. Of course, remember, fixed setups here going along, so this is all about driver knowledge and driver skill, and well, the hands on the wheel and the feet on the pedals, it's really given Marin that ability to drive that through. This is really what you're seeing play along here. It could be setup preference, just leans more towards Marin, but I think really you're just seeing the skill of Sebastian Marin show out here to be able to stick right. Caution.
David Weishart. Significant right front damage to that number 29. That Harry's Tap House and Kitchen. I think the waitress dropped the drink tray over there. Let's see what happened here. Was it David or was it ahead of him? Ozzy to his... Oh, that was one of those meet in the middle moments.
Ooh.
And hard right contact there. I think Causey got off easy there, but David cannot say the same. See what admin calls there. So that was one of those meet in the middle deals, in my opinion.
Yeah, good driving from all of the field behind as well, though, to avoid that and check up. That's very, very good heads-up driving here at Bristol. Again, a track where you're carrying so much speed and 15-second laps. A big moment like that happens in front of you, you may not even have time to process that someone spun in front of you before you get wrapped up in it. Oh, boy. Let's see how this plays out.
We're 37 laps into the stint. And I said this was going to be the time where we're going to start seeing these strategy calls play out. When to pit, when to stay out. This is the time for this to really come into play here. Let's see how many drivers stayed out. Believe that number is roughly, I don't know, 10 or so stayed out. They're going to have some pace, Brad, about 6 to 8 tenths of a second, maybe more. Admin did give a split decision there. Rather than 2 points to one driver, each driver receiving 1 incident point there on that incident.
I think that's an appropriate call. I think that's a fair call, honestly. Who came up, who came down, being the question mark of that incident through top 10 staying out. I think really David Brown and Travis Beckner may be in the better position in 9th and 10th. They've only been out 19 laps here. They've pit twice, but your front 8 back to AJ Stravato. Those are going to be the drivers I'm going to be keeping an eye on. How is the pace going to play out? Of course, we know Nichols and Marin have pace coming up here with 1 to go. It's going to be a question for me for everyone from 10th place, 11th place back, starting with Joseph Causey and Adam Cabot. Where does their pace play in, and how do they take advantage of fresh tires to work towards the front of the field?
And one of the scariest situations is guys on fresh tires trying to get and slice and dice through the field here at Bristol. That is another source of chaos here as we close in on the halfway mark in just a few times around here. We'll take a lap number 97. A little wheel spin even from Nichols there on the restart. Marin, best restart from the outside he's had all race. And like 2 trailer park girls, Sebastian Marin goes around the outside and takes P1.
A little bit of a checkup there back around the Travis Beckner, David Brown area. There was a little bit of separation that came up. It's already closed after the restart. So this is where we're going to start seeing a bit of the strategy shuffle in. Causey and Cabot are going to be your 2 to watch to see if they can carve through the field, how they can carve through the field here further back along. And right now, I don't really see them making big headways, to be honest with you. They're sort of stuck.
Yeah, stuck. And Of course, driving in the middle of the pack, dealing with that aero push, which is not helping. Eat my freshly cut grass, says Adre Stravato there, and a lot of people love that fresh cut grass smell. I'm not one of them personally. I don't know. I do like the fresh shower on a sidewalk in the summertime. I'm one of those weirdos, but anywho, Beckner fighting to the inside of Tyler Nichols. That is 7th and 8th. Sebastian Marin starting to pull a gap, 0.3 of a second.
If Dirt is watching, he's screaming right now. The fact you just said you don't like the smell of freshly cut grass. And I'm going to leave that at that. And I will imagine we will have a message notification after this race on that one. 2 American flag style cars, the 28 and the 22 here. Beckner Watkins into the wall.
Yes, sir, indeed. And Stravato going to the inside. The Cheese Man, Adam Cabot, the 3, Tyler Nichols. Connor Horn, really haven't referred to him too much tonight. He is there in that number 6-7. Yeah, with Drew Jua. Remember, did he not have an issue at some point in the race? I've already lost track, but he was up front top 5, but no longer in such top 5 down there in 15th. Reese Schaefer, Michael Curhan also in the chase there. And just look at this, Brad. We are 2x2. Well, that camera doesn't help, but we are 2x2 pace lap formation here in mid-pack right now.
I'm very scared that somebody in this mid-pack is going to get a little bit argy-bargy and try to take it 3 wide. I think somebody is going to get a little brave and a little frustrated and try to start making some moves. Or, I mean, you do, of course, have the classic Bristol bump and run, short track bump and run that could come to play if somebody wanted to play that game. But we're only just past half-race distance. I think there's a little bit more patience being shown from all of these green cars here in the mid-pack running 2x2 because a lot of these drivers are running similar paint scheme colors for some reason. Sebastian Marin up front, though, half a second in the lead here, pulling away from Jake Nichols.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if this is something that will persevere, if this is something that will sustain, or is Jake Nichols prepping for the long haul here? I mean, the worst thing that can happen for the field is when that 66 gets clean air. Because typically when he gets it, he doesn't give it back up. And again, being 20 points back, he's going to eat into that gap here, presumably here tonight. Of course, for the remainder of the chase, we will be headed to Charlotte, the intermediate track, and then Richmond here for the Cup Series, and then winding things up at Auto Club in just 3 weeks' time after this. So two short tracks to round things through, and then Auto Club, all the drivers already calling it a lottery track, so you want to have as much solidification as possible in the point standings, Brad, heading into that finale, because if it is going to be a draft pack race, of course you can't bank on that as much as you can't really bank on Bristol.
Yeah, Bristol already kind of shown itself here. Look at the amount of yellow outside of the top 15 here as Drew Jua proceeds to move up. But look at some of those big names that we were thinking going into the chase were going to be a challenge. Van Drugman down there in 27, 5 laps down after a penalty. And unfortunately, just stuck kind of in the mix, not going to be able to do a bunch here. You've got just all of your chase drivers not having a good time here right now.
Yeah, Seth Knoll, again, he had worked himself all the way up to the top 5, but now he's back to where he started in the mid-20s and not gaining anything. Does have some right front damage, I do believe, because obviously he doesn't have the lips of an angel, but he's being quite hindered right now by that damage. But up front, Sebastian Marin holding that 0.3 of a second gap. John Forbes, again, kind of quiet here as a chase driver. He was thrown into the chase last second. Frankie Barroso was supposed to be in, but he voluntarily relinquished his spot because he wasn't going to be able to make Chicago. So John Forbes got in, had a good run at Chicago, and now having a good run at Bristol. And another chase driver kind of quiet as well. Here's Josh Cottle. Remember, he won Talladega. And he's trying to not just be a Talladega wonder. He wants to compete up to 4th.
Yeah, good to see the top four here being some of our chase drivers. Of course, Marin and Nichols up big names here in the chase through, but seeing how Forbes Jr. and Caudle work their way along as well, it's interesting to see them starting to charge their way in. Look at Adam Cabot, by the way. We talked about those tires and the difference they could make. Adam Cabot, our first driver on the newest set of tires, currently sitting P6, but doesn't really seem to be getting that much of an advantage, all things said. Isn't running faster than Marin or Nichols, is faster than Forbes and Caudle, though, if only by about half a tenth a lap.
It'll be interesting to see if he can get, big wiggle to the bottom of the track there, and caution flag. Who tis it? Brent Pancari. Certainly having issues there, because that is not the direction that you want your car parked in. Let's take a gander here, and this is, I think, the fourth time today, Brad, we'll have had the same style of caution flag.
Unfortunate to see so many drivers losing it on corner exit here. I feel like that's such an unusual thing to see here in Bristol, is single car spins. I feel like usually it's contact that really causes the spins, but a lot of single car spins, losing rear end grip here through the run. Really not what I was expecting coming into this.
So now we're in a spot where the leaders are 65 laps into their run. We have drivers that are 25 laps into the run. Now Marin staying out 65 laps on the tires. That's a gutsy call. And Nichols and a vast majority of the field coming in. Now we see Marin sometimes do risky strategies when he plays on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this is where he's going for points. So he is Marin. He can do things that the average driver can't do. Can he hang on to tires that are going to be 40 to 50 laps older than his competition? So that's going to be a big task.
Marin stayed out. John Forbes Jr. stayed out. Josh Caudle, the only other driver that was in that big pack in the front that stayed out last caution, that stays out this caution. Everybody else pit last caution or is pitting on this caution. So I mean, for Sebastian Marin, it is a bold strategy here, but there's got to be a lot of confidence in that car, or a lot of confidence that new tires don't give you nearly enough of an advantage. And honestly, I kind of buy it. I'm not going to lie. I would kind of drink the Kool-Aid on that one, especially watching the charges that were trying to happen there in the mid-pack that couldn't happen. So, I don't know. I might be drinking the Marin Kool-Aid here, thinking that was a good call.
Now, my question is, and this is something we haven't talked about it in recent weeks, but it does something that, exists here. It looks like Marin's going to choose the outside lane. We like to say there's the lap of no return. Your bet is made, you're stuck. I'm thinking that lap is going to be around lap 150, but in Marin's case, I wonder if it's already been made. But then again, he almost won the Florida State Builders Pro Series race on a last lap pit call. So who's to say anything is possible with that number 66? But he's going to be up front on those older tires. He's going to get a good jump. John Forbes really on the struggle bus there to the inside lane. That'll stack everything up here as we get back green for the restart.
I think that outside line call from Marin was a very good call there to try to get the run down into turn one and just kind of swoop the racing line along. And you see where it's worked out for Marin, already 0.4 of a second the gap. And look at this through Joseph Causey, one of our drivers who's been out for 30 laps going along here. But Adam Cabot, again, the first driver who pit. And how does it work through? I think if you can work your way along traffic and maybe not eat a wall for breakfast, you'll be doing pretty well.
Jake Nichols in ninth, and he's stuck. Behind that is Zach Carr, Drew Jua, Josh Caudle, and trying to see what they can muster out of this deal. But Joseph Causey has gotten up to second, and he is 0.4 of a second back. He has 30 lap some odd fresher tires. Now, is he going to be able to use those 30 lap fresher tires? I mean, naturally, Marin, I think, has more pace than the 88, but what's going to mean more? The pace that the 66 has naturally, or the tires that the 88 has on the car? Not to say Causey is a slouch. He is certainly a quick driver, and he is, as I speak, eating into that gap.
that he is. Last time through, it was a 1/10 of a second pace difference here. So working on gaining that time in, needs to get through. But what's my favorite saying? It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, and we'll see how that plays along here. So here comes John Forbes Jr. trying to work things out around the outside. Connor Horn down the inside here for 609, making a great move along to work. Oh, big wreck in the background.
David Brown, he kind of was the originator, but he kind of got off easy, or so it seemed. Let's try to...
Got away with it.
See what happened. Oh, another loose on exit. Beckner, Helton, a chase driver. Reese Schaefer snuck through. Yeah, he just kind of did a little, not the cleanest loop-de-doop-de there, but apparently this setup is not easy to drive on corner exit. And again, this puts Marin in another one of those pickles where I think he may be stuck. If we get a... Yeah, I'm torn.
If Marin has it on fuel, Marin's committed to the bit now. That is what I see with it. 75 laps out. If Marin can get to the end on fuel, I think Marin's committed. I don't think there's anything that can be done at this point. A lot of these drivers coming in are drivers. John Forbes, of course, was on 75 laps. Josh Cottle was on 75 laps. But a lot of these other drivers did not pit last caution, pit the caution before. They were on about 40 laps. Ran through, so they are getting fresh tires, full fuel. Again, Sebastian Marin, though, stays out. 75 laps and counting, one pit stop the entire race.
And will he have the opportunity to pit? We still have 24 drivers on the lead lap, last one being Seth Knoll, who is just trying to get that car repaired to the best of his abilities here. You can see that left rear damage. I think there's some right front damage as well. Staying on the lead lap, but just with no pace. Worth noting, again, Scioli 6 laps down. Van Drugman, he's gotten a few back. He's 3 laps down now. And, actually, Seth Knoll, he did lose a lap. Well, let's see. What's scoring going to do? No, he's going to voluntarily come back into the pit, so he is... Oh, he is speeding.
No, he's the first car on the backstretch, so he is actually coming out.
But he's speeding. But he was speeding in the pits. He was going about 50.
He didn't get a penalty for speeding, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I really haven't run much on this configuration of Bristol, but he was shown a lap down for a brief moment, but now he is rushing to catch up to the field, hopefully, for his sake. There's no issues to be had there, but Marin again choosing the outside, which it worked well for him. Causey with the fresher tires. Then you have Connor Horn and Dylan Alt, highest he's been on the day. All fresh tires behind that number 66, the freshest of which Adam Cabot there on the outside of row 3. Huge jump to Marin. That's what he needs. And they're still trying to sort out second.
All sorts of shuffles along. Second place here, Causey. Connor Horn didn't expect to say the number 6-7 was up in second place today for some reason, but Connor Horn there, a driver that stayed out 40 laps on the run and up into second place, swapping high, swapping low, and securing the position. Watch Dylan Alt, though, looking for a dive to the inside here for the 47, and you would think they're all racing for the lead there. Caution.
Cottle, another chase driver. Funny, bro, we were talking about up till about lap 80 that this thing could go green flag and the exponential green flag approach and all that fun stuff. Again, a loose on exit. Who put the oil down? Oh, Hayden Swank. And was that no, that was Swank? That was Logan Helton with another whammy.
Oh.
It ain't an outback, but that was a T-bone right there. Really nothing he could have done.
And then Van Drugman just, I'm going to scooch on through here if you don't mind. And that should give Van Drugman another lap back, I would think.
Yeah, down to 2 laps down. Which at the rate we're going, rapid fire cautions, I mean, takes about maybe 20 laps to start lapping the field here. So, yeah, this rate, Van Drugman, we'll get back on the lead lap. Maybe he can get a top 15 out of this deal.
Well, and remember, cautions breed cautions, so you never really... That's the thing with Bristol. You're never really out till you're out and you sort of commit through, unless your name is Sebastian Marin and you're 81 laps into a stint and you've only pit once and it's probably the only pit stop fuel-wise that you need. I think Sebastian Marin is just committed to the bit at this point and saying, you know what, if I can just get a jump on restart, I can defend my lead, and that's where he's going to sit with it.
I'm wondering how much damage Seth Knoll has on his timers, because again, every single caution he is hitting at every possible lap to try to get that damage repaired. But of course, other partners here with Area and with Travis Beckner, who is 9 laps down, but you can see Hendry County on his car, and heavily damaged Hendry County mobile at that. But he'll be back in the booth, not in the booth, on the stand, August 29th with their Sugar Smash Night of Destruction, and flashlights being taped to cars with minimal track lighting. That's what I remember out of that. Go to Clewiston, Florida, off US 27, HendryRacing.com. Check them out on August 29th. Again, tickets $20. Kids age 5 and under get in free, as do seniors, and discounts for teens. And this time by, I think Noel missed the timing, and he did have to wait. He will go 1 lap down, and I think we are extending this yellow.
Yeah, it looks like we're extending it through, trying to get all of the cars back on track and sorted into their order. So we're extending it, it looks like at least 1 lap, maybe 2 laps here, as we are 60 laps to go here. If this thing stayed green to the end, it'd be 15 more minutes of racing. That is a wild statistic.
It certainly is, and it is certainly helping out Marin to have all these laps of caution, because it's putting heat cycles on.
What?
I'm quiet. I'm making sure I'm not on replay mode. We're
no,
good. This
you're
is
live.
This is live.
What is happening?
Were we behind the... I don't know. I'm going to wait for admin to... question mark.
Did we just pass the pace car
Please?
again?
Oh, I am really hoping that we're not in some eternal caution glitch here. You know, quote Darius Rucker, folks, we got nothing right now. So we're hoping for some insight from our admin to let us know what is going on here. But it seems that we are going to re-rack and try this again. I don't know if they extended the caution, if there was a some kind of a caution glitch, but
it was indeed a glitch. Just got confirmation from admin that was a glitch in the caution
Van
system.
Drugman getting waved around again. I mean, he'll take the glitch. No, he's only 1 lap down. So, to quote a Taylor Swift song off the Tortured Poets album, I think there's been a glitch, and for some people it works out. For Marin it works out because it's less lap that he has to run on his older tires. But the lights are out, the glitches have ceased, and we will go back racing with 54 laps to go.
Just a reminder that iRacing is a very strong simulator, but every once in a while there is a weird moment. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll be looked at later. See how Connor Horn can go on the jump as soon as they hit the restart zone. Sebastian Marin floored it. Connor Horn not ready for that, and Adam Cabot putting in some pressure on the outside here.
Now, they don't want to waste much time. They don't want to let Marin get any gap, but I'll tell you, if that 17 can get second, it's going to be most beneficial because he has the freshest of tires comparative. But then you go back to Jake Nichols, who's right up there as well. Remember, he's on freshies, and he has led a lot of this race, probably the fastest car next to the number 66, leading through, trying to train by Connor Horn on that outside lane.
Dylan Alt thought about taking it 3 wide there a couple of times in the moment. Chose not to. The wise decision, I have to say, to not go 3 wide. But unfortunately for Dylan Alt, that has dropped him down the order as we're coming up towards lap 150. 3/4 of this race done. That is going to really prove to, I think, kick some of these cars in gear and get them to start challenging along, as Adam Cabot right all over the back of Sebastian Marin, trying to close that gap, is closing that gap, is looking here mid-corner with some strong pace. Can he keep it on exit? Well, he's a lot closer than he's been, and now Marin having to go defensive.
And I think if anybody can play defense with old tires, it's going to be that 66. There is aero blocking at play here, but there's multi-grooves and more grip to the 17. He's side by side to the inside lane, trying to use that lesser banking on the inside lane. Marin takes the momentum off the top, but he does wiggle on those older tires. How long will they go side by side? Will Jake Nichols take advantage of the situation? Marin all but cleared. There he goes, the cheese man Adam Cabot taking the lead, sub 50 to go.
Watch Jake Nichols here to come into the mix as well. Jake Nichols definitely going to be smelling the blood in the water here, and he is a great white shark looking to get up to P2 here and then try to go for the lead. Looking to the inside here of Marin. Marin doing everything possible to hold this middle line, hold this momentum, but just wiggles on exit again on the exit of 4, but Marin able to catch it. Unfortunately, that is going to hurt a little bit in terms of pace. Nichols again holding that inside line, has about half a bumper ahead here, half a nose ahead. And coming off the exit, can there be enough of a run? Marin gives the charge back.
He's just taking advantage of that outside lane, trying to use up all the good that the 73 has on the tires, but the 80 is in the mix, and Dylan Alt. Finally, that's going to be a slider. 73 will clear, wash up the track. Marin can't do a crossover. Now Harberts, remember, he started very high in the race, taking advantage of the situation. Marin is making like a 2000s emo song and bleeding here. I bleeded out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I don't know who sings that song, but Marin.
Linkin Park.
Yes, bleeding spots here down to P4 and maybe 5.
I love how you didn't know who sang that song, but you knew the lyrics well enough to throw it in a line. As here we go, bit of sliding along here. The 80 of Harvard's putting pressure in, and Dylan Alt would love nothing more than for these two to just get out of his way. Look at him every time they go into the corner is thinking about putting the nose down there and going 3 wide on the exit. Hasn't done it yet. That is the closest he may be at this point to going 3 wide is the exits, and continuing to go through, and is kind of just saying, hey, Harberts, can you get a move on here? I'd like to be past Marin as well.
He is engaging his inner Ludacris because he wants them to move and get out his way here. But Sebastian Marin putting on the fight, and won't be able to put it on much longer, or will he here? With each lap that goes by, the tires start to equalize out, gives him a better chance to sustain. But I think this may be the lap that he clears, and it will be. Dylan Alt up to P4. Remember, he missed last week. He's 70 points out. I mean, he's just trying to get as high as he can in the standings, but with all the issues he's had, others have had tonight, he will be in a position to gain some spots. And if anybody's hoping for another caution, it's that 56 down there in 23rd. He is 1 lap down in the free pass spot if we have some more carnage. But who doesn't want that? That's Adam Cabot.
Adam Cabot, 6-7 tenths up in the front here and doing a great job of just holding the momentum. Jake Nichols right now needs to start closing that gap, but if you look between the top two where they're at in pace, a 9.86 to a 9.99 last time through, it's about a tenth of a second the lap difference between the two each lap here. 9.98 to a 9.39 now. So Adam Cabot slowly increasing that gap little by little, which is, I mean, really all Adam needs to do is kind of equalize in pace to Nichols and can hold through, because eventually they're going to start hitting traffic again if this run continues, and when it does, it's going to make such a big difference. And by the way, that caution fiasco we had a minute ago, we lost Seth Knoll out of that.
Oh, yeah, because driver got DQ'd as we were reading here, and now we see. So Seth Knoll, his race just gone from bad to worse here. And here is, if we are looking for another caution, it could be here in this gaggle. We've seen some self-spins. I know the 83 had a self-spin. There's Frankie Barroso. Garrett Grant, don't think we've talked about him here today. The boss man, Jacob Bell, he's gotten back on the lead lap. This is all outside of the top, 15, heading back to 20th or so. They are duking at it about half a lap behind the leaders.
It's so wild to me just how how hard these packs can run here in Bristol, even for just the way this race goes along here, as we continue to just watch more and more battling. Causey and Watkins going side by side.
Oh! Now, Van Drugman, whatever you do, don't get involved in this, and you will get your free pass. And there he goes. He scooted his
inside.
Yeah. So what was that? 6 laps down, Van Drugman was. And I think we caught this wreck live, as a matter of fact. Oh, that was a...
We did.
Who came up, who came down? And there was some residuals there. I think
51.
Yeah, Frankie Barroso. I think he had to do an evasive maneuver. But let's see. Marin obviously struggling now to stay up in the heat of it here. But again,
30 laps to go.
Can't make that up unless everybody behind him pits, which it wasn't the case. Unlike my bet in the morning, because I never do it, and my wife yells at me, the bet is made.
And
oh, no, it ain't made.
Like he's... Go to bed. Everyone to the pits.
Rip the blankets off.
Van Drugman to the lead lap.
He will be able to pit. He'll have to be tail end of the longest line, though, so he will, but, you know... we're ready to rack and stack them again. Now, is there anybody going to be crazy enough to take 2 tires? We'll see.
I hope there is.
Well, I guess it depends how you want the race to end with more chaos. Well, let's see. Adam Cabot, you know, I know we talked to him, I believe it was last week. He talked about how gutted he was to have such good runs, but not be in the chase. Cheeky. Same thing, Jake Nichols. He got out of the pits first.
My gosh. What is this race becoming?
First person on 4 is going to be Harbert back there in the 9th spot. Top 8 all taking 2, and then right behind that, Nichols and David Brown. So everybody was afraid of the 4-tire call, so everybody took 2. Brad, we've seen struggles on restarts with wheel spin. Now we're going to have drivers basically in territory they haven't been in all race.
Well, if you need popcorn, if you need to use the bathroom, if you need to get up and stretch, now's not the time to do it. Your points leader is back on the lead lap and trying to get back around on the run to get things through. Sebastian Marin, who's looked so dominant all race, is now in 4th place with a 2-tire strategy call and a little bit of luck on position. Jake Nichols back up to the front. Adam Cabot holding the outside line. What in the world has this race become other than simply cinema with 26 laps to go when they cross the stripe?
Hope you got a glass of Welch's, because this is about to get juicy here. Green flag back in the air. John Forbes struggling to put the power down. Don't know how he didn't spin out. Everyone getting around him. Talked about 2 tires. Everyone's struggling. What's Causey doing down to the bottom of the track? Here's Dylan Alt with a dive, and he's around.
Oh. All right, so 2 tires was a strategy call.
Yeah, that, I mean, let's just see. Even oh, yeah, Dylan Alt there. He drove it on in.
Down, I think.
Now we'll get another.
Causey has a black flag, so that's why Causey was down on the bottom out of the way.
Now let's see. So you can see he had the case of the wiggles. Yeah, he lost it all by his lonesome. Marin missed it by a whisker there, and luckily able to keep it up on the top of the track. And I don't see anybody else taking it any damage from that, but the person who is licking his chops right now is going to be Van Drugman. He has 4 tires. Now he can start with everybody else. He's not going to be single file tail end. He's going to be, I mean, mind you, he's in 20th, but he's going to have more traction than most everybody in front of him on 2 tires. Hell, he could get a top 10 out of this deal.
I would not be surprised, honestly. It's a case of attrition, a case of luck. Again, I said it at the top of the broadcast. Here at Bristol, it's almost the same thing as a wild card track. You got to have a little bit of lady luck on your side, and apparently that's playing the game here today.
Also, and this is very crucial, perseverance, dedication as well, because, Brad, how many drivers would just get deflated to be 6-7 laps down and just pulling the pits call tonight. He stayed in it, realized what's at stake, known that anything can happen, and able to salvage, what seemingly was going to be a terrible day. Well, hopefully salvage. We don't know what's going to happen in the last 20.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at it here Cottle and Van Drugman looking back, it's not over till it's over, and that's genuinely the case, especially here at Bristol. I mean, even in real life, you see drivers go 10-plus laps down and still go out there and run it because you just never know how it's going to play along and how things are going to go. So you just, you have to just persevere, and I think that's the big lesson of the night is perseverance is king, and sometimes you end up in really, really good spots when it all shows up.
So Jake Nichols, pardon me, he somehow beat Adam Cabot out of the pits there. So now, of course, Jake Nichols, having led a good portion, almost half of this race, now has himself in the catbird seat, choosing that outside lane. Marin is going to be stuck to the bottom, hoping that Cabot can get up to speed here into this restart box, but he will not be able to do so. That'll stack up the inside lane. Jake Nichols gets the edge he wants. Connor Horn trying to go around the outside. Will they get up to speed? Will anybody have the wiggles?
Jake Nichols learned that one off of Marin several restarts up in the front where Marin got the run on Nichols there on the outside line, and Jake Nichols said, all right, if that's how Sebastian Marin runs a restart, that's how... Oh, big wreck!
Is the track wet? My Lanta!
On the track. Oh, we're not done.
Now, what in heaven's name happened there off of turn number 2?
Hey, NASCAR, the track is wet.
They all seemed completely unrelated too. That was the crazy part there.
I don't know that I've ever seen something like that in iRacing, honestly, where multiple cars look like they hit an oil slick.
John Forbes is first. Michael Curhan, the 65 got into the 09, but I think Michael Curhan, let's just quickly try to see, did something instigate his? No, he lost it. The 27, I think he also lost it. Corner exit has been, and then David Brown, his day bad to worse. Corner exit has been really bad, Brett. Obviously, the two tires just making it exponentially worse.
Yeah, I cannot believe that this is where things have went down to. I was not expecting this, honestly, all the way through. Tower reporting that they cannot see that the track is wet, saying, let's just run the cars through it and see if they wreck. Admin have jokes.
Technically,
admin.
Actually, I don't know. They have the short track tire, but I don't think that they technically, the rain tire, which we don't have in iRacing, even though rain's been out for 2 years, I don't know why they haven't put it on the oval cars yet. NASCAR. But anywho, I don't know if Bristol got approved for the rain package yet, just because of the banking. I know, obviously, Martinsville, we've seen it at Richmond, Loudon. I don't think it actually got approved for Bristol. But anywho, we're fictitiously talking, but just seeing how crazy that has been. And they got fired off, Brad. I thought we were going to be good, but they just... Even though they fired off okay, once they started getting into the run, you'd think they would settle in, but there's just no grip to be had.
I don't know what's happening here. What's our weather conditions turned into? Because that's the only thing I can think of is that something with the weather has changed here. But 85-degree track temp, 54% humidity is not doing anything. So, I don't really see where it's coming from.
Yeah, just drivers not able to... They haven't been in this situation. A rubbered in track, slick track, end of the race. That extra level of impatience, aggression, desperation. And then having, 50, 60, 70 lap old left side tires. It's not a situation you could practice for. You just got to be in the moment. Nichols choosing the bottom of the track this time. Will that be the decision to make? Well, he gets the jump. Cabot will have Marin behind. And now, can Marin make quick work? Can we make it through without a self-spin?
Well, let's see. Dive to the inside from Cabot. Look at that. Trying to go for the lead on Nichols out of 2. Oh, little wiggle from Nichols up the front on the exit of 4. And somehow Jake Nichols leading with 15 laps to go.
And he is the cheese man in second. Here is Connor Horn down there looking to the bottom of Marin for the 3rd spot right now as everybody is siphoning their way through. We'll say Van Drugman up to 15th, and that's Garrett Grant in the waltz, but he keeps it straight. We do stay green. Van Drugman said he was going to be close to a top 10. It's right in front of him. That would be an amazing recovery of a day if he can do that. But up front, who's going to be the winner? Oh, Connor Horn. Not Connor Horn. He ain't going to be the winner. He's littering the track debris off his car, but he keeps it straight. We stay green.
How are we still green? There were more cars wrecking behind him. What in the world?
Connor Horn's fender is on the racetrack. We go side by side for the race lead. 17 to the bottom. Jake Nichols to the top. Marin and Harbert's licking them chops, trying to figure out who could persevere. Will it bring them back into the mix? Nichols has led half of this race, but Cabot has been a fight to be reckoned. He's been a force to be reckoned with in the second half. Struggling down there to make it on the inside lane.
Look at this. Your top 4 have pulled over 2 seconds on 5th place back. Just absolutely. Oh, is the top 2 about to try to wreck each other through 2. Now the front stretch. We're down to 10 laps to go.
Only about 3 minutes of racing left. Will it stay green? Adam Cabot trying to get in the range where he can send it and clear. Trying to get the power down. Nichols pinching him, getting the momentum off the top. Nichols should clear. Cabot's going to have to get back and reset, but he's going to get a good bite and try it again.
He's holding right there on that quarter panel as hard as he possibly can, and he's doing a great job of it there, keeping Nichols just up through. But that time, Nichols with enough of a run, I thought he was going to come down and shut the door, but he doesn't. Nichols with a wiggle, though. That's going to hurt Cabot now down to the door. That's the best he's been here over the last few laps. 6 to go. We're side by side for the lead.
If I'm Adam Cabot, I think you want to pull back in line and try again, get the run off the top, but he's dedicated to that bottom of the track. Is he close enough? No, they're door tapping. Cabot gets into the left side of Nichols, pulls him up the track, but he can't clear. He wiggles. Nichols regains the position, pulls back side by side.
Adam Cabot now getting a bit more of a run in the middle, and that is Nichols with a wiggle again. They hold door to door yet again here, leaving millimeters of space between, doing everything they can. And look at that. That's one of the 609 Motorsport cars coming up to go a lap down. This is going to be where things get interesting for Nichols and Cabot. The pulls right off the track. Great decision there. They're still holding side by side. We're coming up 3 to go here.
And he's just running out of opportunities. He already got him a little roughed up once, and will he do it again? Is he willing to do what it takes for a win? Jake Nichols trying to persevere on the outside, take advantage of a rough day for a lot of chasers. 2 laps to go as Harberts and Marin go side by side.
2 to go. Cabot now in line, and look at that, trying to get a little corner on the bumper along here is Marin, now facing Harberts here, coming through 3 and 4, white flag. If they see the white, next lap ends it, they should. Coming off a 4 wiggle from Nichols, 1 lap to go.
Here he goes down to the bottom with only 2 more opportunities left, drives to the bottom, gets a good bite side by side off a 2 and down the back into 3. There's contact up the track. Nichols trying to hang on. Are we going to have a Bristol photo finish in the wall? Who gets it? Adam Cabot by 3/100. No, Jake Nichols by 4/1000, scoring switched back. Jake Nichols by 4/1000 at Bristol. Was a photo finish at Bristol on your bingo card, Brad?
No, not at all with the way this race went. Not what I expected. And look at this coming through. Out of 4, they were holding door to door. Cabot was trying to squeeze Nichols up into the wall here, going through. And timing did say Adam Cabot had it for a moment, and then it flipped through. And if you're wondering what that looked like, there you go.
That is basically 4/1000 of a second. I thank Whiplash SimCams. didn't think I need a photo finish camera at Bristol. But Andrew Cardinale, thank you for providing it for me. Jake Nichols getting the win, and he'll do the Polish victory lap here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's very, very nostalgic to say, Brad, but have you ever?
No, I've never. And what is it about area that time after time in this Cup Series, we ask each other that every single race finish? It's something about this series that just has some crazy goes.
And what I'd love to say is Adam Cabot gave him everything under the sun to try to get by, but he didn't wreck him. And that is the ultimate sign of respect and sportsmanship. Let's go down and give you the final rundown of results here today from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Jake Nichols holds on by the absolute thinnest of possible margins over Adam Cabot. Jacob Harbert's in third, Sebastian Marin in fourth, Reese Schaefer in fifth, Drew Jewett in sixth, and look who got himself a seventh place finish. Six laps down, Van Drugman in seventh, Travato, Forbes, and Nichols, the top 10.
P11 on the night, Frankie Barroso. Now that's a good finish for Frankie there. Brandon Watkins in 12th, Josh Cottle 13th. Was it Jacob Bell laps down at some point too, finishing 14th here? Michael Curran in 15th, David Brown, Bryce Sinesak, Zach Carr, Garrett Grant, and Connor Horn rounding out your top 20.
We'll let the rest of them scroll on through. Against Scioli with his connection issues earlier in the race. Dylan Alt had his wreck. Logan Helton just could not catch a break here today. And Seth Knoll, again, another driver who, that caution situation, he ended up getting a disqualification on the day, and he's going to be on the caboose here this evening. But we'll head to victory lane here today, where we find the 73 with a race that had just about everything in it. And I think Discord's going to say all of that for a Jake Nichols win. A photo finish at Bristol. You got beaten up, you got roughed up, but you didn't get wrecked, and you hold on for the win, man. How can you summarize what just happened?
I don't even know. I was so tight on entries to the corner there for some reason the last few laps, and I was just trying to be conservative on exit. We were kind of sliding out a little bit, so I didn't want to, start sliding out too much. But I knew if I held the top, I had a shot still. I knew he was going to kind of drive me up, which I kind of drove him down on entry to 3. So it was kind of just Bristol, short track racing, beating and banging. But I felt like I still could get the run off the corner, and so I kept my throttle smooth, not trying to just flat foot to 100 and wheel spin and lose it. And I saw my name move ahead of his last second before the start-finish line, and I went crazy. It was just, what a battle. Hats off to Adam for a clean race there for Bristol. Bristol, you could do a lot more in terms of dirty stuff to win the race, and he kept it pretty clean. So respect to him, and we had a good race overall. Thank you to Sim Speed Shop for being on board. Obviously, all season here, we brought out our purple and teal for the night, and maybe it's got to stay since we just got our first win at in the playoffs here. Obviously, we won Kansas leading up to the playoffs, but good vibes all around for the 73 team.
I'll tell you, I like the scheme as well. Looks good under the lights. Reminded me of that old Jeff Gordon color changing car. But
yeah,
I know the strategy here today. Me and Brad were talking about a green flag race, and then lap 80 hit, and the race just kind of went upside down. And here at Bristol, making the decision of when to pit, when to stay out, how old are the tires, what's the fall-off situation. I know it bit Seb pretty hard there with staying out. What was the calls like there? How difficult were those calls deciding when to pit, when to stay out, and of course the 2 tires at the very end?
Oh, it's scary. It's just, I nailed it at Kansas. I got really lucky at Kansas, and it worked out when we pit was the right time. And I think that was the same tonight, but it's still so sketchy because you don't know, you don't want to put yourself back 10th to 15th range, and all it takes is one guy to slip up and your race is over. And thankfully we didn't have to worry about that. We got through pretty clean, and it worked out for us and Adam there. I was surprised when Adam pitted again when we pitted the last time, but it clearly worked out. He was in the battle for the win the whole time there. But thank you to everyone at Solar Flare. Top 10 for Tyler as well again. So we made do with Seth and James having rough nights, and it was crazy. I can't believe it. I'm so glad we get to be in victory lane again here.
Absolutely. We'll head to Charlotte next week and see what you can do there. Heading into the halfway point in the chase. Any final words or shouts before we let you go and celebrate?
Just the Solar Flare shop, JWR Race Cars, Sim Speed Shop for being a proud partner of ours. we're very lucky to have some great partners and getting to represent them in victory lane, the virtual style, and thanks to all my teammates. I obviously love working with them and trying to win the championship again and the team title and trying to win another driver title. I feel really good. I feel confident. I think this puts us in a really good position to keep fighting hard and hopefully come out on top.
Absolutely, man. Looking good, and the most exciting way to grab it, man. Congrats, and we'll see you soon, man.
Thank you.
And now, so close, but yet so far, Adam Cabot with the second with Brad.
Nichols win.
I have a feeling I know the sentence you were just saying.
You know the first half of that sentence? Yeah, I think you do.
Oh, I know the first half of that sentence, man. 4 milliseconds separated you from victory. You did everything but put him in the fence. Talk to me about it.
Man, I don't even know what to say. That was an amazing race, an amazing finish. The worst part is I really thought that I had him coming across the line, and I'm like waiting to see the P2 refresh into P1, and I'm just like, come on, it's going to refresh any second here, and then it didn't. And on our timing and scoring in the sim, we just have to the hundredths, and I see it's 0.00. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So yes, I will finish that sentence. All that for a Jake Nichols win.
I was right, Brad. I said that my first thing at the interview. I'm like, Discord's going to say a Jake Nichols win.
Oh, a couple of people have already said it too. It was a wild run, though. I want to talk to you about mid-race run, though, and kind of the decision to pit. Now, Sebastian Marin tried to stay out basically all the way to the end, it feels like. How did the tires really feel after the fall-off, and what did you do to kind of mitigate that?
So I would say that tire fall-off and fresher tires were a bigger deal than I expected them to be, and I realized that I think the caution before Jake and I ended up pitting together, not the last one, but I guess the caution, whatever the caution was before that we all pit. So I felt more confident in that decision. I'm like, well, I pit, 20, 30 green flag laps ago, but I felt like I had a lot more pace than the cars around me on the fresher tires. So I'm like, screw it, I'm going to do it again. And I wasn't sure whether to take 4 or 2. I'm glad I took 4 in that situation. And then, man, if I just beat Jake off of pit road, I think I had that race won, because I felt like I had more pace than him at the end, and it's just damn near impossible to make a pass in the bottom without wrecking the guy. And it's funny because you guys asked last week, like, oh, do you race the chase drivers any different? And I'm like, no, not really. But I'm not gonna lie, like, coming down to the end there, seeing the yellow banner in his car, I'm like, man, we're having a really good race here, and like, I'm gonna give it everything I've got. But I didn't want to hit him mid corner and wreck him. But yeah, that was everything I had there. It was everything I had there without wrecking him, and just felt like I did everything perfect. And if you look coming to the line, when I kind of like doored him and pinned him up against the wall, my car was ahead of him, and then he kind of like net-coated through me a little bit, which is why I didn't realize that happened at the end. That's why I thought I won the race. So the old saying, netcode giveth, netcode taketh away. I never realized it could taketh in that situation, but that was just, man, mixed emotions, because that was an amazing finish and a really fun race, but it's really damn hard to win in this league. These guys are really good, and you don't get a lot of opportunities, and I feel like Michigan I would have won earlier in the season if my sim didn't crash a couple laps to go, and tonight was another one that just felt like it got away. So I'm just going to take away the positives, which is that, I'm still able to come out here against these guys and have speed a lot of weeks, and between last week finishing third, this week second, I guess that just means that next week is destined to finally be that win.
And next week is Charlotte, and I got to say, if third then second is the trend, or you thinking the wins next week at Charlotte? But it sounds like the answer to that's going to be a yes.
Well, let me tell you this. I was leading at Charlotte last season, and my sim froze that race too. So at some point, I feel like my luck's got to turn. So why not next week?
Absolutely. Lady Luck, of course, has to be on your side sometimes, along with the skill. We know the skill's there. Let's just see if we can't get Lady Luck over. Congrats on the second place, Adam.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
And we'll send it down to Corey. Corey standing by with Jacob Harberts, who finished in P3 ahead of Sebastian Marin.
Well, Jacob started third, finished third, so I always like to say, I guess nothing happened in your race. Of course, that's not how it all transpired here. You had a hard-fought day, a top 5 car all race, man, but what I'm most curious about was those 2 tires that everybody took there at the end. How much of a struggle actually, well, actually you took 4, but were you surprised at how much the struggle those drivers had on the 2 tires at the end. It seemed like the track was wet out there.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do. I mean, I figured some people would take 2 tires, but I didn't think as many would take 2 tires as what happened. But end of the day, I think 4 tires was the right call for me, just based off of how many people lost control of their car. I mean, it was, when it snapped loose, there was no saving it. You're either spinning out or going into the wall. So I think it was the good, safer play for me, and just make sure I can keep all 4 tires pointed in the right direction. The top 2, I mean, I think they were just a little bit quicker than me anyway, so even if I was, evenly matched on tires, I think they probably still would have got me on pace, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you're not, necessarily in the chase in this series, but obviously someone who you're not a surprise to be up in the front of the field. So I talked to Adam, and he says, you don't really race the chase drivers different, but he said he kind of gave Jake Nichols a little bit of a break. Is that anything that's in your mind here, in a track like Bristol, knowing what's on the line with other drivers, or are you still at it 100% no matter what?
I mean, I was pretty much going for it. Obviously you don't want to ruin someone's race, especially if they're in the chase and you're not, because that just, doubles the negative effects of taking someone out. Obviously you don't want to take anyone out ever, but, with the scenario that's going on, I still want to run as good as I can, try and win, try and get some interviews, and that's what we did tonight.
Absolutely, man. And I know, you have something other to race for in other series here, and going for the chase in other series, so we'll see you soon later in the week. Any final words before we let you go celebrate your top 5?
I'd just like to thank Rocky Boyd for the charter this season, and hopefully I can carry some momentum to tomorrow night for the trucks. Absolutely.
Great run tonight, man. We'll see if you can carry it through. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Well, Brad, as I said in the before we started, a photo finish at Bristol was not on my bingo card here, but I'll reiterate, all that for a Jake Nichols win. Be very interesting to see. I don't know if they have been updated yet or the point standings are, because obviously the chase drivers really had a very varied day here this week.
Points have been updated. Jake Nichols currently up 13 points over Van Drugman. Reese Schaefer third in points, and Marin up into fourth. Scioli dropped to fifth. So a lot of shuffling up here on the points run. But it looks like right now we're still in a rock'em sock'em robots to the end, because the points gaps are not that crazy.
Yeah, Jake Nichols obviously looking pretty. Marin 29 points back. Charlotte next week, Richmond, and then Auto Club to round out our season. But make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe here to PTR TV. Consider following, and subscribing on Twitch. Stay tuned for tomorrow night. We'll be back with the truck series, also with triple bypass, double duty, elbows out Wednesday, more double duty with area and triple bypass on Thursday. A busy time here on PTR TV, and we'd love to have you guys joining us for all of these shows. But that's going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.